Let me ask you something. When you fall in love, do you feel like you disappear? Do you feel like you lose your confidence, your choices, or even your voice? A researcher called Souza did a study that revealed that people who show more codependent behaviors struggle more in relationships. And this is because they handle stress in unhealthy ways and they see more problems in their relationships, which makes them generally more unhappy. Here's the deal. Most people overcomplicate healing. But what if I told you that breaking away from codependency is just 4 steps away? No fluff, no wasted time, just real life-changing actions that actually work. So Caitlyn is one of my clients. She's a nurse on a cruise ship. And oh my God, is she so good in a medical emergency. All her passengers and employees are safe when she's on board the ship. But she struggled with dealing with conflict in her relationships. She told me that the reason she took the job on the cruise ship was she didn't know how to draw proper boundaries with the guy she was seeing at that time. So she needed a job that would take her away from her partner for 10 to 15 days a month, so she would have a breather. We worked together on codependency for 90 days. And today I'm going to share with you the exact 4-step strategy I shared with Caitlyn, so you can beat codependency too. But first, let's get clear on what codependency is. Span and Fisher define codependency as a pattern of extreme focus outside of oneself. It is a lack of expression of one's feelings and an attempt to derive a sense of purpose through relationships. Now, the simple 4-step strategy I'm going to give you can help you beat codependency, but it's only as effective as the work you put into it. So let's go. Let's start. The simple 4-step strategy is redefine, unlearn, disrupt, and protect. Here's the thing. I have almost 60 hours of content focused around working through codependency, and I have gone ahead and synthesized it into 4 easy steps. There are definitely other ways we can work together, but for now, let's get to know the 4 steps and how they can help you beat codependency forever. Step 1, redefine. Growing up, my biggest fear was being unseen, unheard, and unloved. I struggled with self-worth, and this caused me to give more than I should have in relationships. Now, we have a tendency to feel inadequate when we're not feeling in the silence, so we overcompensate to avoid rejection. Have you ever asked yourself, why does being in love feel so exhausting? Why do I find myself needing a break from someone I thought I would love forever? Can you see why Caitlyn was struggling? See, some of us define love as suffering, as proving, as self-abandonment. A codependent mind is conditioned to believe that love is only earned through hardship, not shared values, not mutual respect, not emotional availability. And when love is distorted into suffering, emotional abuse gets mistaken for passion, for intensity, and at that stage, red flags feel like butterflies. Looking back, the reason why I fell victim to love bombing and manipulation was that Rachel, she needed to be seen, she needed to be heard. Her self-love came from being liked, it came from being accepted. I didn't know who I was. I didn't enjoy my own company. I didn't even value my own dreams and goals. I had to learn that my previous partners were not at fault. I had to unlearn the habits that incubated the manipulation, the lies, the emotionally unavailable partners. Until we redefine love as reciprocal, codependency will keep relationships one-sided and exhausting. Your romantic relationships will never be that safe place you crave until you redefine what that safe space looks like. That Rachel in the past, she entertained emotionally unavailable partners. She was a professional Betty the Builder because she needed to be needed. I had to learn that someone loving me was not going to make me love myself more. I had to learn that somebody choosing me was not the same as me choosing myself. I had to learn how to stop manipulating and love bombing myself. I was my first date. I was my first lover, and I was my first friend. Which brings me to step number 2, unlearning negative patterns that keep you stuck in a cycle of codependency. The reason we need to unlearn the patterns is we're just perpetuating the cycle of abuse, the cycle of infidelity, the cycle of unfaithfulness, the cycle of unfulfilled actions, the cycle of love, the cycle of love bombing. We are practically doing everything to keep the cycle of toxic relationships in our lives. In order to truly break the cycle, you have to go and replace the behaviors that are causing that negative result that you don't like with self-awareness, with emotional regulation. I'll be the first one to say I struggled with the need to overshow up, to over-connect. I didn't know the difference between loving somebody genuinely and saving them. We have a tendency to attach our worth in relationships to our ability to fix the person we love. Can you see how that can affect the way you show up for yourself in a relationship? The only way to build a fulfilling relationship is to unlearn the patterns that keep you stuck in a fear-based relationship. The relationships that stand the test of time, they're not perfect. No. But you know they're stronger because of their ability to repair, their ability to resolve conflict, and they're built on mutual respect and not fear. Which brings me to the crazy step number 3. Let's talk about disruption. True intimacy requires discomfort. There was a time in my life when I was so scared to rock the boat in a relationship. I avoided having the hard conversations because I thought if I buried my head long enough in the sand, my problems would disappear. We have a tendency to fall for the lie that conflict resolution makes us difficult to love. That in order to keep our relationship going, we have to suffer disrespect, lack of loyalty, multiple infidelities. If you learned how to have more tough conversations with ease, what would that do for you? How would that change your relationships? Healthy relationships evolve from difficult conversations, from differing opinions, and mutual accountability. None of these 3 are comfortable. Before I studied why I was stuck in toxic relationships, before I was a coach, before I was a support system, every emotion that I felt was an emergency because it was fueled by the fear of abandonment, the fear of conflict, the fear of rejection. I had to learn that numbing my emotions with the busyness of trying to fix him was hurting me more than helping me. I had to learn that fixing somebody is not love. I had to learn that true love is not about rescue. Can you see how this alone can help you eliminate some of your frustrations? Before I fell in love with trust-based relationships, where the words actually match the actions, it was so hard for me to say no. It was so hard for me to set boundaries. So I was constantly on the lookout for, is this person trying to manipulate me? Is this person trying to love bomb? Why are they getting too close to me? I had to learn the difference between transactional love, which is basically one-sided, and a trust-based love, which is built on mutual respect. I had to be my first safe place. I was my first anchor, and I was my first coach. We've talked a lot about redefinition, unlearning, disruption, and now the secret sauce. Let's make everything stick together. Step 4 is called protect. Now, boundaries and definition are where you stop and the other person starts. The reason I personally struggled with manipulation and love bombing is people around me, they discovered that I have no discipline when it comes to boundaries. That Rachel didn't know she had any control. So she constantly fell victim to manipulation, to the alligator tears. She listened to every explanation, every excuse that was given to cover up disrespectful behavior, lack of loyalty, cheating. People around me just knew what buttons to push to get me to compromise my values. I had to learn that people are in charge of their own happiness. I don't control anybody's happiness. I had to learn that genuine connections are built on mutual respect, not fear. Now, for some of you, this might be exactly what you've been looking for. The 4 steps to beat codependency are exactly what you're looking for, but not everyone. So some people want some extra support, and I'm here to help. Click the link below and sign up for one of my free coaching sessions. And remember, if this video has helped you, subscribe for more. I'm Coach Rachel, and I can't wait to connect with you again. Bye.